The room was silent, the hum of computers and faint clicks of keyboards the only sound breaking the heavy tension. She sat at her terminal, eyes scanning lines of intelligence data that could mean the difference between life and death. Outside the war room, the world continued unaware of the delicate thread on which millions of lives hung. Her name, a simple combination of letters in a family legacy, had been meticulously erased from the official reports. For weeks, they had tried to erase her existence, her efforts, and the countless missions she had risked everything to accomplish. They had tried to reduce her to a shadow, to a footnote in a war no one outside these walls would ever see. But today, the classified briefing would reveal everything, and she prayed that the one person who could change her fate would see what no one else had. From the beginning, she had known the weight of invisibility. In a world dominated by hierarchical power and rigid chains of command, her contributions had often been overlooked. As an intelligence officer, she worked in the shadows, dissecting intercepted communications, tracking insurgent movements, and piecing together fragmented data that could prevent catastrophe. Every life saved, every operation averted, was her silent victory. But victory came with its price. She was a ghost in her own story, celebrated only in secret, denied recognition, and constantly reminded that in the eyes of bureaucracy, a woman like her could easily be written out of history. Yet, she carried on, driven by an unshakable moral compass and the quiet hope that one day, someone would see her, not just the data she produced. Her recent assignment had been her riskiest yet. A series of encrypted messages had pointed to an imminent strike against a civilian convoy, a strike that could have killed hundreds. She had spent sleepless nights decoding the messages, navigating political interference, and convincing reluctant field commanders to act on a hunch, a fragment of intelligence most had dismissed as unreliable. When the operation succeeded, lives were saved, but her victory was immediately contested. Her name was scrubbed from the official report, her work attributed to someone else. The erasure was methodical, cold, and infuriating, as if acknowledging her success threatened the fragile egos of those above her. She felt the familiar sting of invisibility, a bitter cocktail of frustration and sorrow, but she did not falter. She never faltered. The stakes were too high for her to crumble under bureaucratic injustice. The tension reached its peak when the classified briefing was convened. High-ranking generals, strategists, and political overseers crowded the room, their faces stern, almost unreadable. She stood at the periphery, a silent observer, her heart pounding as if it were trying to break free from her chest. The report was projected onto the screen, an immaculate sequence of operations, mission details, and tactical successes. Every name appeared in meticulous order, every commendation carefully documented, except hers. She felt the familiar pang, a sharp reminder of all she had endured. Her stomach knotted, her chest tightened, but she refused to look away. Her work was not about recognition, but in this moment, seeing her name erased felt like a personal betrayal by the system she had dedicated her life to. And then it happened. The general, a figure whose reputation for stern impartiality was known throughout the military, paused mid-line, scanning the document on the screen. He frowned, muttered under his breath, and then stopped completely. Slowly, deliberately, he pointed to a line that had been hidden in plain sight, her name. The room fell into an expectant hush. For the first time, the world she had served from the shadows acknowledged her presence. The general's eyes met hers across the crowded room, an unspoken understanding passing between them. He read her name aloud, and it was like a key turning in a lock, unlocking validation that she had long been denied. The room erupted in whispers, some incredulous, some admiring, but for her, the sound of her name spoken with authority felt like a lifeline thrown across the chasm of years of silent service. The emotional weight of that moment struck her in a way she had not anticipated. All the nights spent questioning her worth, all the times she had doubted whether she belonged in this world of men and hierarchy, melted into a profound, quiet relief. She realized then that courage was not always about charging into the fray. Sometimes, it was about standing firm when unseen, when unheard, and refusing to let erasure define you. Every choice she had made, every risk she had taken, every ounce of perseverance now had a tangible, undeniable proof. She existed, she mattered, and she had made a difference. And in that affirmation, she found something deeper than recognition. It was a sense of justice, of truth, and of a mission fulfilled not for accolades but for humanity itself. From that day forward, her role in the intelligence community changed. The same people who had tried to erase her now sought her insight. Young officers looked to her as a mentor, inspired by the quiet, relentless strength she had demonstrated. But she remained humble, grounded, and aware that the true battles were not in reports or briefings but in the choices people made every day, in how they treated those around them, and in how they persevered when the world seemed determined to overlook them. The general's acknowledgement had been monumental, yes, but the deeper victory was the reclamation of her own dignity, the restoration of a story that had been nearly lost. And she carried that story forward, a beacon for others who worked tirelessly in the shadows, unseen but essential. Viewer engagement request: if this story touched your heart and reminded you that courage often happens in silence, that truth eventually finds its voice, please like the video and share it. Your support ensures that stories of quiet heroism are seen and remembered. Comment line: tell us about a time someone recognized your efforts when you thought no one noticed. Your story could inspire someone else to keep going.